Well, hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now, for this one, something I've been looking forward to showing on the channel for a good few months now. I pre-ordered this ages ago and it got pushed back a couple of months and it's only just arrived just as we are about to go into November. So you might notice straight away that the camera is positioned a little bit differently than it would be for a normal unboxing or video that I do here. There is a reason for that, because this thing is just a touch bigger than I expected it to be. Now, if you follow me on social media, you'll have seen me post a picture of this already, so this won't come as much of a surprise to you. But what I would like to present to you all right now is another model kit that we are going to take a look at, and that is the Evangelion Unit 1 Godzilla crossover model kit. Now, this, let's just zoom that out a little bit. This is something I've been looking forward to for a hell of a long time because I've mentioned in the past, and I've done a couple of model kits on here, I enjoy a good Gundam or Evangelion model kit from time to time. I've only ever constructed fairly smallish ones. I think the most expensive one I've done is about £50 to £60. This was double that. As you can see, it's also double the size of box of anything that I've done before, so I'm very excited to build this and show the results off. Now, as I record this, I haven't quite decided how I'm going to do these videos yet. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this video to kind of introduce it, show you the insides, and then maybe construct one part of it. Then what I will do is I will go away and I will finish it in my own time. And then we will return, so I can show you it all off. But, like I say, I haven't quite decided yet. I'm making this up as I go along. But, let's just take a look at what we got here. So this is part of the EVA 2020 range of stuff. Now, as many of you know, I've mentioned it on the channel before if you watch my EVA videos, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 was meant to arrive in 2020. COVID delayed that, went back and forth a little bit, got delayed, they added some more stuff to it, and it did turn out to be a better film, I believe, but this still comes in as part of that EVA 2020 branding. There was meant to be a huge push there. It's also part of the Godzilla and Evangelion crossover range that they started doing back in about 2016, 2017, I want to say, kind of with the arrival of Anno Hideaki's Shin Godzilla movie, which is absolutely fantastic. I would definitely advise people check it out and give it a watch. But what they did is they did a huge crossover between Evangelion and Godzilla. There wasn't any sort of animation or anything produced or any manga, which sort of surprised me, but there was a lot of merch, t-shirts, jigsaw puzzles, these kind of models, the character crossover stuff, so you could get like a figure of Asuka with a baby version of Godzilla, or Rei with another kind of baby kaiju. Quite a few things like that. There is also a performance, an orchestral performance, symphony performance, where they performed music from the Evangelion soundtrack along with the Godzilla soundtrack, and it's fantastic. If you can dig it out, I would definitely advise doing so. In fact, I did a video about Evangelion soundtracks on here, and that, I think, went ranked in as one of my favourites. But we're here to look at this. So, let's open it up and have a look at what we get here. So I'm quite excited to do this one because it's huge and it's going to look fantastic. You can see on the front what we're going to get. But as we have a look inside the box itself, you can see all the individual parts that make up this behemoth of a kit. So now we can actually bring the camera in. Apologies for any motion sickness there. But you can see we get quite a lot of parts here. Now, going back to my desktop army picture videos, I did demonstrate an example of what I disliked about them, but you can see almost immediately with these, hopefully, something I do like. Now, you probably can't see that. Oh, no, you can. That says H, and that one says F. So I can tell almost immediately this is going to be a lot nicer to put together, a lot less fiddling about. It's going to take a while though, but you can see we get so many individual parts here. which is gonna, like I say, this could take me 1 to 2 weeks to put together, depending on how much time I spend per day. Just getting through all these parts here. Now, what did we get there? Can't quite. I don't want to open any of these bags just yet, which I'm sure you can all understand. But there's the bag with some decals and stickers on there. I'm presuming these cardboard bits might just be cards for stickers, maybe. But let's empty the box there. This is the most bags I've ever had with a model kit before. And then we've got the instructions. So what we've got there on the back. Now, for anyone wanting to get into building model kits from Japan, don't be daunted by the amount of Japanese on there. You do not need to understand Japanese whatsoever. What you do need to be able to do is understand how to read letters and numbers. But this is our part list on the back. So what you'll want to do, you'll want to correlate everything on there if you want to. But you can see how many pieces there are. It does say, please confirm the product content of the following parts list. Now, I'd be very worried if there weren't all the parts there, given that this came from Japan. Just a note, for anyone wondering where I got this from AmiAmi. Quick word about AmiAmi. I've used them for a good few years now. I would heavily recommend them to anyone after merch from their favourite anime, manga series. I tend to use AmiAmi for getting merch, especially Evangelion stuff. They always tend to have a lot of the stuff there. Fairly decent price, decent shipping. They don't take your money until it ships. And I've never had any issues with AmiAmi. When it comes to music, I use CD Japan. For various other things, I might use Otaku Mode. Within the country, I've used YY Kawaii, who sells through Instagram, who tends to be quite good and gets a decent range of stuff in there. Or we have used Decal anime. That's where I got this mat from. I've also had Japanese snacks from Decal. None of this is, just a word, none of this is sponsored, this is all personal opinion. But I know people do wonder where you get these things from. So if you have any questions about any of them stores, hit me up in the comments or hit me up on social media. I'll be happy to answer any questions. So here is the instruction manual. So what we get there, we get some pictures of what this is going to look like in the end. I am so excited. Like, I am childhood James, like, you know, 10 years old James opening up a Power Rangers figure, excited to put this together. That's how excited I am. But this is pretty much the same as any Gundam, any model kit that I've done before. You start with the head unit, and it just tells you how to snap it all together. Like I say, there's actually plenty of English in these. I think they know they've got an international audience with them, so they do put quite a bit in there. But what it says there, you know, so we'd need, you know, I've looked up what the names of them are, but I keep forgetting every single time. But we just need the card that correlates to F, the ones with PC on, and the ones with N on. And it tells you how to put it all together. It's very easy to follow. If you watch my Enterprise stuff, similar principles here. Have some patience, make sure you read the instructions before you just start cutting and snapping stuff together willy-nilly. But there you go. That is the start of it, and then it's onto the arm units, and we just keep going through there. So you can see it's intuitive. Very, very intuitive, very easy to follow. Tells you how to do the leg units, the backpack there. Then it's how to attach it all together. So what I think we will do for the video, what I think we're going to do, I am probably going to demonstrate making the head in the video. Then I'm going to go away for about a week or so to build it. Then what we will do is we will come back in this same video, and I will put everything together and we will have a look at the final model together. So this should only be one video. We'll wait and see how it goes. But I'm not anticipating any difficulties with it. So I will see you again in a moment when I start putting this together. And then we will keep going from there. See you in a moment. Welcome back, everyone. Now, I know I said before we cut to this bit I was going to do like the build process of the head unit, but there were a few technical difficulties and the video didn't really turn out to my liking. So I thought we'd go with the best, make the best of it, so to speak. There was also the point where it kind of took a lot longer than I expected to put it all together, which wouldn't really have made a very interesting video. Now I'll just actually show you what we have here. So we've done stage 1, the head unit, which you can kind of see, well, you can see it here. So this is the very start of our model. And what we've got here, we've got some kind of articulation here with the mouth opening and closing. But it looks very good. It's very much what you'd expect. It is a clipped together model kit. Now the only point I will make about this, and this kind of fed into the difficulties in recording the previous part, there is I believe it's called a water slide decal set with this. And it has kind of been a little bit awkward. One thing you might notice here, I'll just wipe stuff from my desk. Do you see them purple parts here? And there's a little indent here on either side. You are actually meant to put some decals in there. But no matter what I did, I could not actually get the decals to sit right. I followed the instructions, but they would just fall off. They were too small for my set of tweezers to really point them into place. It was just a very, very horrible experience. I'm used to working with stickers for these model kits. Never really worked with decals like that before, and it's not something I ever really want to do again. Because it just didn't really seem to work. And there are a few more decals to put on, but what I might do is I might try and find some sort of alternative solution. But for now, this is the head unit. We've got a long way to go. We've got a body, the arms, the legs, the tail, the whole lot. But this is where we are so far. So I shall see you again in a moment when we'll have more of this done. So, welcome back, and as you can see, it's complete. So it took me a couple of weeks, had to find the time to put it together and also record the video. And just as a note, if you want to see a little bit more of the step-by-step, I have put up a YouTube short, which you can find in the videos, and if you're subscribed, it would have popped up there. So you can kind of see a little bit more in depth of the various individual stages of this. But let's just have a quick look at what we have here. So, see there, that's from the front. From the side, from the back, and from the other side. So, you can see it looks absolutely fantastic. Going to look really, really nice on display. But how did I feel about the build process itself? So, like most of these snap together model kits, it was alright. The instructions were very easy to follow. This is one of those ones that wasn't too difficult. Everything just snapped together really nicely. But there was some awkward parts to it. So the first thing to mention, the water-based decals. I did not get on with these at all. I tried, but I think a combination of me just never really having used them before, mixed in with how small they were, meant that it just didn't go. And I did give it a try, followed the instructions, but it just didn't happen. I even looked up videos for it, but the videos I looked up tended to be for much larger ones rather than the smaller ones that this uses. So maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe it's just a confidence thing. I always say when it comes to these sorts of things, a lot of it comes down to confidence. So I ended up not actually using the decals on this. I don't really think it makes too much of a difference. It's still really colourful. The decals were just for a few minor details. So I'm not really too bothered about that. The other thing to mention is, and you can see it here, I've accidentally knocked it, but there's some rubber parts on this, and sometimes they just don't sit nicely. They're easy enough to sort out when they come out, but it's just sort of like a minor irritant, I guess, that you have to keep adjusting that if you knock it, but nothing major. And the final thing, I guess, little criticism, which tends to be with all of these kits, is for anyone who hasn't done one before, the way you tend to build it is you'll build the head unit first, then you'll build the body, then you will build the arms and legs and whatever accessories it has. Then you'll pop it all together. So you have your torso unit, and if you have a look at the shot, you'll see this, but you've got the torso, and then you attach everything to it. So you put the legs, then the arms, and the head on it. With this particular one, and it's one I'll say with this particular one, it's something I've found in a few other model kits. Sometimes the arms don't necessarily want to go onto the torso, sometimes the head has difficulty doing that. I found with this, it felt like it was going to break at times. Now again, this might go back to the water-based decal thing, it might be a confidence issue, but I did find that it took me a while to kind of actually snap it together. I did actually try to record me doing that for a video, but it ended up going a bit too long. It didn't look great. It was just a lot of fiddling about on camera, so I didn't really include that in the shot itself. I just kind of show on your torso. Now we've got legs, now we've got arms, now we've got head. So if you build this particular one, bearing in mind the price you pay, I would probably, I'd be wary of that, because it does feel like you're going to break it. The other kind of fiddly part with that was on the tail, which is made up of many, many sections. So there's like one section for here, then another section and a small one, and then loads more individual smaller pieces, which is really, really cool. But again, it felt quite fiddly, and one of the other things with this is that when you are attaching those parts, they're obscured. So I don't know if you can see very well here, but that underneath the Ava's neck is a rubber section, and there's some more rubber sections throughout, and it kind of gives it that, you know, consistent look, but it also meant that when you were attaching these parts, they were obscured, so it made it quite difficult to do so. So what I would say for this particular one, bearing in mind that it was about, you know, £80 to £100, can't quite remember now, it's an advanced kit. If you are beginning, I would avoid this one, but if you're intermediate to expert, obviously, go ahead and get this one. It's fantastic. You can see for yourself, it looks brilliant. You get some articulation on the arms, you get a bit of articulation there, you get a little bit on there, and also you get like this bit here, which sort of opens up nicely, and shoot back in. Really, really cool piece of kit. I absolutely love it, and like, it will take pride of place in my collection, but for a beginner, I wouldn't recommend it. It's definitely one for you being a bit more comfortable and confident with it. But, you know, like I say, I do love it, and I do not regret it, and I'm very, very excited for next year for getting the Evangelion Unit 2 Godzilla kit, because I can't wait to see how that one looks. So let me just pull this out a bit more, and then you can see it a little bit more in all of its glory. What a formidable thing that is. And look at that. So, with that said, thank you for taking the time to watch this. Please do leave a comment, leave a like, do subscribe to the channel, check out the social media, support on there, please share the video. Let me know your adventures in model kit building. Always interested to hear that kind of thing. Let me know if you'd like to see me do more sort of things like this. I do have a few more model kits I've been meaning to get around to building. As I mentioned in a recent Star Trek one, I've got some Warhammer that I would like to feature on here, but I've started getting into doing that. If you'd like to see me, you know, do more short stuff, go and check that out as well, let me know. But until then, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, and I'll see you again in the next video.